Hey, y'all, come on in, come on in. I hope y'all can hear me just fine. I'm sitting outside at a coffee shop, so hopefully the volume is okay. Okay, let me know who is here in the chat. Let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from. So I'm excited to have this conversation today, guys. This is going to be so much fun. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Put your name in the chat and let me know what city you're in. I want to make sure that I know who is here. Let me know. Let me know. All right. All right. So he was in the chat. Let me know. So we'll get started in just a couple of seconds. I am so excited about this chat, guys. I was literally just having a conversation with a young lady in Pittsburgh who's running an incredible business and just needs a cash flow injection, right? Just needs a little bit of more money to get over the hump so she can really scale her business. So I always consider it an honor to have those conversations. So we're going to be having that conversation today as well. So we should be right at an hour or under. So I'm going to try to keep it at an hour because I want to be very mindful of your time. I always schedule it for an hour and a half. Just so if you have a lot of questions and things like that, I want to make sure that we get to all of those questions. Donald Smither, good to see you, Houston, Texas. Okay, good, good. So I grew up in the Sunnyside area, and then once I finished grad school, well, actually during grad school is when I moved to the Third Ward area. So good. All right, so Donald Smither in from Houston, Texas. Where else are you guys in from? Let me know. Put it in the chat. And we'll get started in probably 1 minute because I definitely want to be mindful of everybody's time. And this coffee shop closes at 6 o'clock. So that part too. And listen, let me know what type of business you're running, right? So if you want to drop that in the chat, because as I see those things, I can incorporate some different scenarios and examples into my talk. So I definitely want to make sure that I know what type of business you're running, what type of pain points that you're having, what type of capital you are seeking in your business. Because again, there's different types of capital. We have angel investments, we have, venture capital, we have non-traditional crowdfunding, all of those things. Hey, Joy, awesome to have you. So Joy is in from California. Awesome. So it's a little bit earlier over there. 5 o'clock here, Central Standard Time in Houston. So good. Who else is in the chat? Let me know. And we're going to get started in 1 minute. Is that Amarachi? That is so pretty. Washington, D.C., creative studio and media. Awesome. I used to live in Washington, D.C. I love Washington, D.C. I lived there for 3 years. I lived in Bethesda, Maryland, all over that area, all over the DMV. I have a real estate investment company and also a nonprofit. I'm having issues getting funding for both. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. And definitely, you can ask me as many questions as you need to about, the whole funding process. All right, so guys, we're going to get started, right? And let me just make this introduction, right? You're going to hear a lot of me, I, okay? Because I'm going to show you that this is stuff I haven't heard about, right? This is stuff that I've actually done. This is stuff that I do day in and day out as a capital consultant, as an international speaker, as an angel investor. So I'm going to give you tons of scenarios, my own scenarios, right? Because again, you want to know that I can help you. You want to know that I'm doing right the very thing that you need. Okay, Joy is a speaker and coach. All right, awesome. So we got real estate, we got speakers and coaches, we've got creatives in the chat. So this is all good, all good. All right, so guys, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we're going to get started because, like I said, I want to keep us right at an hour or less. Okay. Okay, share screen. All righty, let me get it here. All right, can everybody see that? Let me just make sure that I put, and I'm just using my Canva. Love Canva. I don't know about you guys, but all my presentations and things like that, I use Canva because it is so easy, right? Such a gold mine. So anyway, guys, so this Funny Masterclass is all about how I was able to secure $29,000 for my business in 1 month. Literally 1 month, right? Using the gift of gab, using somebody else's money. And I'm going to be showing you some of the mistakes that you're making in your business that's keeping you from the money you need to really grow and scale your business. And they're not so much mistakes, but there are some things, right? There's some ways that we've been indoctrinated to believe that are just all wrong. Literally, I was just having the conversation with the young lady a few minutes ago, and she was saying how, she doesn't really like to ask for the money. She feels like she's begging. And guess what? You're not begging. Investors are looking for opportunities to invest. That's why they're called investors. Banks are looking for individuals to lend their money to. Otherwise, why would they be in business? Banks don't save their money. We take our money to the banks to to house our money to save it. Banks don't do that. They take your money and then they lend it out. Y'all do know that, right? Okay. So so we're clear about that. And again, to ask for money, when you're working with an investor, you're giving them an opportunity to do what they already do well, right? Which is to invest. And we're going to get to that, Joy. I'm going to show you the individuals you need to be asking for the money. Okay. All right. So let's dive in, guys. So, one of the things I want to tell you, if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you the same pitch deck, the exact same pitch deck that I used to secure the $29,000. And that was only two transactions. Only two transactions. So it wasn't like I got 1,000 here, 2,000 there, 3,000 here. No, it was only two transactions. And let me show you what those transactions were, right? So again, this is the same pitch deck that I used. And it was only 9 slides at the time. I added a little bit more in there to show you guys. But again, I'm going to give you the same pitch deck that I used to secure the $29,000. So again, you guys know me, right? They call me the Pine Size Powerhouse. I'm an international speaker. I'm a speaker coach. I'm an angel investor. I do a lot of philanthropy globally. I've been all over the world, right? 49 countries and counting. But my favorite title is servant, right? I'm a kingdom financier. What is that exactly? A kingdom financier is someone who has been commissioned by God, right, to be a vessel of resources, to be a vessel of, where money is deployed. Okay, that is what I do well. Now, again, remember, I told y'all I secured $29,000 and it was only through two transactions. Number one, the number one bank in the United States, JP Morgan Chase, sponsored my conference last year. And people say, well, Seneca, how did you do that? Right? I ended up being invited to an invitation only event that JP Morgan had through a representative that I met randomly. Right? He invited me into the room, invited me to this networking event. And guess what? I walked in there like I owned the place. I introduced myself to everybody in the room. They have 5 directors in the room at that time. I made sure I introduced myself to everybody in the room and requested them on LinkedIn on the spot. So I didn't wait till I got home. I didn't write their names down. Right. I had my phone in my hand and I was like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. Are you on LinkedIn? Well, let's connect there. Definitely is what you need to be doing. Because let me tell you something. 41% of millionaires have a LinkedIn account. Okay. So again, this is how I got the number one bank in the United States to fund my event, because I went to a networking event and I pitched my idea of my conference. They literally texted me the same night and asked me for a W-9 form. They could have checked the same day, guys. The same day. The lady who gave me the funding just saw me in March after my conference, after my last conference, and asked me, did I need funding again? And guess what? I've already got JP Morgan signed up for my next conference. Okay. Next thing. So that was just one, right? That was 4,000 of the 29,000. The next thing is I secured a $25,000 angel investment. And guys, again, I have receipts of these things. So this is a screenshot of my U.S. bank account, right? I have multiple business bank accounts, but this is the one that I use for most of my transactions, right? And as you see in green at the bottom, $25,000 deposited in my account on 10/14/2022, October 14th, 2022, less than a year ago. And I started a whole nother business using those funds. Okay, now let's keep on going. Now, let me tell you why I'm so passionate about this. So, most of you know my story, right? I grew up on the southeast side of Houston, Texas, called Sunnyside. Sunnyside was considered the sixth most dangerous neighborhood in America. And Donald, if you're from Houston, I'm pretty sure you know, right? Sunnyside was a rough area. Crime was crazy, lots of violence, drugs were running rampant in our community. But what I realized is that, when I graduated from high school, got a full scholarship to Tuskegee University, I realized that Sunnyside was not a bad neighborhood. Sunnyside was an economically disenfranchised community. Y'all see the difference? Meaning, what I was seeing is people in survival mode who did not have the resources that they need to really thrive. So everybody was in survival mode. Everybody was willing to take something from you because they didn't have it, right? And there were no resources in our community. So that's why I'm so adamant about finding the people with the resources so that I never have to be in survival mode, so that I'm always thriving and that I'm always finding opportunities for other individuals, especially business owners in my community, to thrive. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. And this is what I want to stress to you guys. Okay. Relationships are the keys to advocacy, and advocacy is the key to access. Most people think, I'm able to secure all these deals and I've done what I've done because of all my credentials, and I've been around the world and I got multiple degrees and I got all these credentials and things like that. That has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with me cultivating relationships with the people who have the resources. As I cultivate those relationships, they become my advocate. And that's how I get access. Any questions so far? Yeah. Most of our crime is poverty crimes. Absolutely. So again, these weren't bad people. These were people in survival mode. The crime was a result of people not having resources, people not having access. So you're absolutely right, Donald. Thank you for mentioning that. Okay, so now again, y'all, relationships. That's how you get to the next level. Let me show y'all how relationships have gotten me to the next level. I told y'all, I don't know if you guys know this. I've been to Africa 9 times, right? Out of those 9 times, I've only paid for one trip. I literally had eight of those sponsored or crowdfunded. Basically, I used everybody else's money to take trips, okay, to go out there and do work. And let me show you what I've done, right? I studied at the University of Ghana at the Institute of African Studies in 2019 and 2020. Guess what? All of that was funded. I did medical missions in Luanda, Angola, one of the richest countries in Africa, right? Guess what? All of that was funded. I taught IT courses because many of you know, right? If you look at my LinkedIn profile, you know that my master's is in information technology. I went out there with 7 women to do a mission trip to teach out there some of the local schools. That was paid in full. One of my favorite countries, Kenya, right? I've done 3 medical missions out there because I told y'all philanthropy is near and dear to my heart. I love global philanthropy. I've done 3 medical missions in Kenya with several tribes, right? All of those trips were paid for. Okay. And again, you are your greatest investment. By me investing in myself is taking me all over the world, 45 plus countries. And that's why I want to make sure you guys get the resources that you need to start living life on your terms, not somebody else's terms, not someone else dictating how you should move, how you should live, and what you should have. Okay? Any questions for me? I'm going to just keep on flowing. If y'all have any questions, just drop them in the chat and I'll get to them. Okay? Oh, thank you, Amarachi. I love the fact that you're doing kingdom work through finance. Amazing to see how God is elevating people to make impact. Amen. Thank you. That is my ministry. I tell you. And I love every moment of it. I love every moment of it. All right, guys, so I'm gonna keep it going. Now, let me tell you this. So, number one, right? One thing we're gonna talk about, and make sure you write this down. Take a screenshot, okay? Investors want to see proof, not potential. Investors want to see proof, not potential. Everybody has potential, right? People don't pay for effort, they pay for results. They want to see what are you doing in your business and what kind of traction are you drawing? What kind of business are you bringing in? Is it profitable, right? Is it revenue generating? And again, guys, remember, I didn't say, did you have a solid business plan? Do you have all of that stuff doesn't matter because those are things that we can work through and get you prepared, right? We can get you capital ready. We can get you funding ready. But the fundamentals, like, do you have a viable business in place? Do you have the capacity for the funding? Okay. Robert says he wants to learn more about putting together a conference. No problem. We'll talk offline. Okay. Because I'm getting ready for my next conference. All right. So again, investors want to see proof. Let me give you some proof, right? So during the pandemic, I had this young lady approach me. This is someone who we've been friends since 8 years old. We've literally went to middle school, elementary, middle school, and high school together. She approached me about becoming a confident, more compelling communicator. She's been in business for herself for the past 20 years, bachelor's and master's degree, savvy young lady. And so she's been getting a lot of requests for speaking. And she came to me because she was like, well, Seneca, I don't want to be a professional speaker. I don't want to be a motivational speaker. I just want to be a confident, more compelling speaker. When she said that, I literally went to the drawing board, created a whole program around being a confident, compelling communicator. And less than 8 weeks into the program, she secured a six-figure contract. Now, again, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I've done with my own clients. In less than 8 weeks, right? Less than 2 months, she secured her first six-figure contract by going through my program. Another young lady, right? Replaced her corporate salary as an entrepreneur. This is one of my favorite stories because Joy was actually let go the day she started my program. She was let go from her six-figure job. She worked in banking, right, in finance for like 15 plus years. And when COVID hit, she was let go, right? They always cut the fat at the top. But guess what? She has already replaced her corporate salary as a professional speaker, as a coach, okay? She has been featured in several magazines. She is a TED talker, right? She has already been featured in a TED talk. I haven't even done a TED talk yet. And this is someone who's only been in business since the pandemic, since 2020, and she has already done TED talk. So if you're a speaker, you know what that means in that world, okay? Next, this is another young lady who came to me about wanting to basically leverage speaking as a primary vehicle to secure more funding for her business. And now she's created a whole new stream of income. And again, I want to give you guys proof of the things that I've done so that you can be confident that I can help you do the same. Now, let me tell you this, right? So we talked about, right, why those relationships are so important. Okay. Now, let me tell you this. You need more than people with influence in your network. You need advocates who have affluence. What do I mean by that? Influence, right, is one thing. Affluence meaning they have the capital, the dollars to go along with it. Not only are they influencing individuals and making decisions, but they can also put money behind it. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So Donald says, I'm doing a lot in the community, Seneca. We should definitely build. I'm planning a concert in Houston in August, and I'm going to need your help. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's summertime where everybody gonna be out. All right, guys. So let's keep it going. Now, again, you need more than people with influence. You need more advocates who have affluence. Okay. Let me give you a couple of advocates in my network. So this is Padowitz Alcing. I met him through LinkedIn. For some of you, you are not using LinkedIn to your advantage. I always tell people, if you're not making money on LinkedIn, you're doing something wrong. If you are not making steady money, daily money on LinkedIn, you're doing something wrong. It literally took me about 4 or 5 months to get a meeting with this individual. He's came and spoke at one of my conferences last year, and he has unicorn clients. Do you guys know what that means? Unicorn clients. That means these are individuals who businesses are valued at over $1 billion. Now think about how deep his network is. After he spoke at my conference, he made an introduction to one of the VPs at Wells Fargo Bank for me. Okay. So again, right? You don't need to have people with just influence. You need people with affluence, meaning they have the money and they're attached to other people who have the financial resources. Let me give you another example. This is Brandon Ziegler, right? Met him through LinkedIn again. Have y'all noticed the pattern here? LinkedIn, 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 right? You need to be using it to your advantage. So he's an angel investor. He also is the director of impact investing for a global endowment firm. He manages a $4.6 billion portfolio. Did y'all hear what I just said? A $4.6 billion portfolio. Some of the people that I've introduced him to have already made some solid connections and made some transactions. Okay. Again, not just people with influence. We've got a lot of influencers out here, but affluence is what you need. Okay. Let's keep it going. Another thing, number two, right? You need to volunteer where the people with the money are. Why do I say that? Because again, if you're in a time in your business where you don't have a lot of capital to spend, right? Just on leisurely stuff, on play, right? Most of your money is going towards bills and overhead and things like that. You just don't have a lot of money to spend on other things. One of the best ways to get in the room, right, with people who have affluence is to volunteer. Every year I volunteer. National Black MBA Association, Black Enterprise, Women of Power Summit, right? Texas Women's Conference. Because guess what? If people can pay for a two, three, $10,000 ticket, those are the people I need to be in the room with. Those are the people I need to be networking with because they've already proven that they're willing to make an investment in something they believe in because they've already paid for the conference. And let me tell you my little secret, right? This is what I do. I volunteer in the morning because what happens in the evening, guys? Somebody tell me what happens in the evening at these networking events? Why wouldn't I volunteer in the evening and chill in the morning? Who wants to tell me that? I want somebody to tell me. I want to make sure you guys paying attention. Who wants to tell me, right? Why do I volunteer in the morning and then I leave my evenings open? Come on, guys. Time is money. Somebody put something in the chat. Well, let me tell you. I volunteer in the morning because all of the social events are happening in the evenings. The galas, right? Happy hours. Absolutely. People are out and about, happy hour and such. Absolutely. That's exactly why I volunteer in the morning and I leave my evenings open. Because guess what? Now people are having drinks, right? They're friendlier. They're having a good time. They're letting a load off. They want to chat. They want to vibe. And that's the perfect time to have those conversations. That's the perfect time to have a yes. So you have access. Um, Amarachi says, so you have access to networking in the evening. Absolutely. So when you volunteer, they give you different shifts, right? They might have a morning shift, an afternoon shift, and an evening shift. But because you're a volunteer, you get access to everything that the paid people get access to. So everybody who paid for a two, three, $10,000 ticket, guess what? Because you're a volunteer, you get access to it as well. And guess what? You didn't have to pay anything for it. The only thing you had to pay was with your time, right? Your time. So again, that's a great way. Yeah, early birds get the worm. Absolutely. All right, guys. So let's keep it going. So let me show you just some of the people that I've met, volunteering. Here's the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, Tim Marshall, right? Met her in Las Vegas at the Women of Power Summit, hosted by Black Enterprise, right? And not only that, but I've actually met Mark Cuban, her boss. You see the power of proximity, the power of connection, right? Getting in those rooms. Another person, I've met senior advisor to U.S. President Barack Obama, Valerie Jarrett. That was at the same conference in Vegas. Okay, you see us talking there. Another person. How many of you know Farrah Gray, right? He's a millionaire, bestseller, author, investor, speaker. And I mean, he's been a millionaire for a long time, like since his 20s. But again, I make sure that I get in the room with these people, mix, mingle, get their contact information, right? Follow up with them. And that's how I'm able to get these doors to open so quickly, because I actually cultivate relationships with the people who have access to the resources. Does everybody understand that? Everybody get that? All right, guys, the quickest pathway to financial capital is social capital. Can anybody tell me what is social capital? Yeah. What's social capital? What do I mean by social capital? Anybody want to take a stab at that? The quickest pathway to financial capital is social capital. Again, what did I start with? Relationships. It's all about relationships. Okay? You need to establish relationships, and you need to cultivate those relationships, meaning it's not transactional. It's not a one-time transaction, but it's people that you're following up with. A lot of these individuals, I send them birthday cards, I send them holiday cards, right? I check in, with them from time to time to see how they're doing, how the family is, all of that. Okay? You got to be doing that. You got to be cultivating those relationships. Next thing, okay? And let me tell you how cultivating those relationships has paid off for me. So, guys, I told y'all that JP Morgan was the first to sponsor my event, and then I had US Bank. How many of you knew about the US Bank Access Fund? They have $30 million in that fund, and it's up until 2025. And that fund is specifically for 30,000 women of color owned micro businesses. How many of you knew about that fund? Put a one in the chat if you knew about the $30 million that US Bank is allocating right now. If you are a woman of color, there is no reason why you should not be requesting those funds. Okay? No reason why you shouldn't be. And US Bank, I work with US Bank directly. They've spoken at my conference. Another bank, right? Again, I told y'all, JP Morgan Chase was my very first sponsor. I got the number one bank in the United States to sponsor my first event. And let me tell y'all, it was my very first conference. So it wasn't like I had done a whole host of conferences before. I had spoke on everybody else's stage, but I had not produced an event of my own. And I'm talking about a conference. I've done many events, master classes and workshops and things like that, but I had never put on a conference. And I convinced the number one bank in the United States to cut a check for my conference. And again, it had nothing to do with my credentials. It had nothing to do with me being in business for so long. I had just created that new business. But again, I cultivated relationships with the managers, with the directors, right? With the individuals who sign off on the money. Guys, let me move real quick so that my laptop doesn't overheat in the sun. All righty. All right. I want to make sure my laptop didn't overheat because I was directly in the sun. All right, guys. So again, JP Morgan has $2 billion that they have to deploy over the next 5 years to Black, Latina, and women owned businesses. Did you guys know that? You know how I got the funding from them? Because I talked directly to the lady who signs off on the money. And I think somebody in here said they wanted some relationships with JP Morgan. Was that Joy? So, again, how many of you knew about that funding? Yeah. Thank you so much, Free. Thank you so much, Free. Amazing. Access granted is absolutely necessary for all business owners to attend. You will gain wisdom and exactly what you need in your business. And again, this is someone who has supported my events, who has been there. And not only that, she brought people with her. Okay. So again, if you're not asking for a part of that $2 billion, you're leaving money on the table. Another client of mine, PNC Bank. How many of you knew that PNC Bank has a community development initiative going on right now? And they have $88 billion in that fund. 47 billion is for real estate, home lending, right? 26.5 billion dollars of that money is for small business owners. 14.5 is for community development. So if you're in community development, if you're in real estate, right, looking to do, if you're a small business owner, meaning you make less than $25 million a year, you need to be asking about that funding. I literally met with one of their VPs who I have an amazing relationship with. And you know what she told me? She said, Seneca, we're having a hard time finding the people to give the funding to because they won't apply. They don't think they'll get it, so they won't apply. I've literally been having to push people over to her. Hey, make sure you go sign up for this money. Okay. Again, I just gave you 3 banks that I'm connected to directly, that I do business with directly, who have sponsored my events. Right? I have a personal connection with. And guess what? Because I have a personal connection with, now I can make personal introductions on your behalf. Y'all a little quiet here. I'm dropping some gems and y'all real quiet. Y'all not saying nothing. Let me know something. Let me know if I'm on the right track. I want to make sure y'all want this information. Because again, I'm not telling you what I heard, I'm telling you what I've done. Right? Right? Listen, guys, business is a team sport. You should be in business for yourself, but you should never be in business by yourself. If you're of this mindset that you got to hustle and grind and get it out of the mud, and you got to, you got to struggle and all of that to get it, you working too hard and you're doing it the wrong way. You're not leveraging your community. You're not leveraging your resources. You're not leveraging your relationships. And if you're working that hard to get the money, you're probably doing something wrong. Okay. Absolutely. My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right, guys. So let me ask you a question. How many of you have, how many of you can say, I have a network of individuals who I know I can go to about the funding. I know how the whole process works, right? I know how to access the capital I need. How many of you are confident, right? You can say confidently yes. How many of you are confident, right, that you're running in the right circles, you're making the right connections, you know how to access the capital? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Yes or no? Yes or no? And Free, I'm not too far from you. I'm like I'm off of 45, like NASA Road 1. So I'm not too far from you. Put it in chat, guys. Yes or no? Okay, so he said the chat is a little bit delayed. How many of you are confident that you know how to access this money? Okay, I appreciate your transparency, right? I believe I do. It's the confidence to act and align on the right project. Okay, all right. And that confidence is everything. Like I said, you got to walk in the room like you own it. Like it's a pleasure for them to be in your company. And I know that sounds a little cocky, but again, investors want to invest with people who are confident about their businesses. So it's absolutely essential and necessary that you are confident in your business. All right. So again, um, let me tell you, is it okay if I go ahead and tell you guys about an opportunity that you might be interested in? Okay. So Free Little, right? She kind of hinted to it. This June 16th and 17th, if you're in the Houston area, right? Or if you're not, right? Because most of the people who come to my events fly in from somewhere else, right? I'm going to be hosting my third annual Access Granted Conference. Less dialogue, more dollars. That is the theme of this year. Less dialogue, more dollars. We don't need more coaching. We don't need more mentorship. And again, all of those things are excellent. I recommend coaching. I recommend mentorship. But none of that matters if it's not accompanied with dollars. If dollars aren't being deployed, if you're not getting the capital that you need to grow and scale your business, then all that mentorship and all of that, coaching means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. The people that I'm bringing to the stage are the individuals who do it with their eyes closed, right? They know how to make money with their eyes closed. They have been investing for years, right? They are in the wealth management space. These are venture capitalists. These are angel investors. These are the individuals who make a decision about the money. And again, I've made a whole business out of knowing the right people, knowing the people with the money. And I told y'all, I always use somebody else's money before I use my own. When it comes to my events and things, I always use sponsorship dollars and I partner, right? I collaborate because it's no sense in me using all of my money when there's other people who want to partner with me and who want opportunities to invest their money. Okay. So again, let me tell you about what you get in this Access Granted. Okay. You get a welcome package from me and my sponsors, right? Which is valued at $45. You get an exquisite 3-course dining experience, right? $100 value. And I'm talking about just one person. Okay. We're going to be at the Marriott Marquis, which is one of the best hotels in the city. Okay. You're going to get a cocktails in the courtyard business networking experience. That's valued at $158. Guys, I have to be very transparent about this. Most of the deals that I make are not in the office, right? It's not in a boardroom. It's not in the office. It's generally over drinks, dinner, brunch, breakfast, right? Networking events. That's where the real deals are being made. You're also going to get 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn e-course. Again, like I said, if you're not monetizing LinkedIn, if you're not making money through LinkedIn, you are leaving money on the table. 41% of millionaires have a LinkedIn account. 41% of the people on LinkedIn make above the national average. What does that mean? This means that these are the individuals who have the capital to support your business. These are the individuals who can invest in your business. Okay? And again, when you come to the conference, you're getting all access to all of the keynote and breakout sessions valued at $1,497. The total value of this conference is $1,997, right? $1,997. Let me tell you why that's so important. Again, you're going to be talking to the people who signed the front of the check, not the back of the check. I'm going to let that marinate. You're placing yourself in a room with people who signed the front of the check, not the back of the check. The reason why a lot of you are frustrated with the whole funding process is because you're talking to the wrong people. You're talking to are not decision makers. They don't make decisions about where the money is being allocated. So you're spinning your wheels, right? Now, these might be people who can be advocates, meaning they can make a warm introduction and get you in front of the right people, but these are not the people who sign off on the money. And that's why you're frustrated. You need to be talking to the people. You need to be in the room and cultivating relationships with the people who signed the front of the check, not the back of the check. Okay? Again, these are the people who signed the front of the checks. You've got myself, an angel investor, international speaker, right? Been to over 45 countries. Next to me is Abraham J. Williamson, who's a venture capitalist and a tech startup attorney, right? You have Christopher Senegal in the middle, who's going to be headlining. He has over $100 million in real estate development projects active right now. One of the biggest real estate developers and investors in Houston, Texas. You have Dr. Shantae, who is a capital activist. She's also an impact and venture investor. She has locations here in the United States as well as Africa. When I tell you a powerhouse, Pedro Moore is a venture capital advisor. He's actually the venture capital advisor for Damon John on Shark Tank. And I'm pretty sure all of you are familiar with Shark Tank because all of them on there are billionaires. Okay. Down here at the bottom, Marley, right? He's a business structuring expert. We're going to show you how to structure your business so that you can maximize profits, minimize your taxes and liabilities, right? Generate generational wealth and protect your assets. We're going to show you how the millionaires and the billionaires have been doing it for centuries. And this gentleman has been doing it with his eyes closed for years. Not only that, he started at the top with accounts over $10 billion. And now he's scaling that information down and making it available for individuals like you. Okay? Next to him is Williams Bragg. He's an author, he's a podcaster, he's a business coach. When I met Williams Bragg, he was actually the vice president. He manages portfolios between 400 million and 2 billion. One of the nicest guys I've ever met in the world. You need to be in the room with that guy, okay? Pali Ute, who's a senior marketing director of First Financial, her own organization. She makes 6 figures a month. And guess what? Her greatest joy is helping more people make more money. And last but not least, we have Adonis Lockett. He's a real estate investor. He's the director of operations for L&H Capital, who is partnering with me on Access Granted. So it's funny because he was my speaker at the last conference, and now a speaker has become a client and has now sponsored my event. Because guess what? He has the authority to cut a check, and he cut a check. This is what you're going to be in the room with. Okay? This is the level of expertise, the level of wisdom that you're going to be getting at the Access Granted Conference. Not only that, right? Again, you're going to get a 3-course dining experience. You're going to do a cocktails in the courtyard where you get to mix and mingle with other investors, other like-minded business professionals. Okay, you're going to get access to my monetized LinkedIn e-course. Let me tell y'all, LinkedIn makes me thousands of dollars monthly. Okay, and the same things that I use in that e-course are the same things you're going to be learning on how to monetize your business. Okay, and let me just give you some prime examples of individuals who have come to my conference and who have secured funding. This is young lady, Kimberly Evans. She owns a rideshare company. Literally a month after my first conference, she secured a $10,000 grant. To date, she's received $76,000 in grant funding. This young lady just attended my conference. Free got a chance to meet her, right? Just secured a $5,000 pitch competition. And now she's in every major retailer for her vodka company. Okay? So guys, again, I'm showing you that these are the individuals who are in the room, and then the people who are attending are getting funded. Okay? And again, like I said, guys, this is not what I've heard. I've done this. At the height of the pandemic, I was hired by a community nonprofit to build a digital literacy program for them. I partnered with a grant writer, one of the best grant writers I've ever worked with, And she's here in Houston, Texas, in the Third Ward area. Together, we secured $5.4 million in grant funding for that one program over a 2-year time span. So they got $5.4 million for 2 years. That's a lot of money for one program in just a 2-year time span. And guess what? They can apply for more funding the next year and get another 2.7 million. Do y'all hear what I'm telling y'all? Do y'all hear what I'm telling y'all? Okay. Again, this is what it's all about. It's about accessing the capital that you need to grow and scale your business. I'm a firm believer in what the word says, right? Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. God wants you to be prosperous. He wants you to live a life of abundance, meaning more than enough. Because if you have more than enough for yourself, you have more than enough to help somebody else. So when people ask me why I'm so generous with this information, because I want to make sure that as many people as possible are reaping the benefits. All right, guys. My let me hurry up because my laptop is dying. Let me see. Oh, you know what? Hold on, guys. Let me go plug up. 1 second. Let me just stop my camera real quick. All right, guys. So it's a little, they've got the music playing in here, but we're almost done. We're 10 minutes away. All right. So again, let me get to the. So again, if all this did was, okay, if you invested in this conference and all it did was give you access to a network of wealthy individuals who can show you where the funding is, how to access it, and possibly make a financial investment in your business, would it be worth 1997? Would it be worth $1,997? Let me know in the chat. If all this conference did was get you in front of wealthy individuals who can show you where the funding is, how to access it, what funding options are most appropriate for your business, and they would actually consider making a financial contribution in your business, would it be worth 1997? Let me see yes or no in the chat. Yes or no? We've got 10 minutes, guys. Yes or no? Yes or no? With all that, right? Getting in front of individuals who have multi-millions, multi-billions, right? Would it be worth it, right? Robert says yes. Free, would it be worth it? Free has attended my conference, right? Amarachi, would it be worth it, right? Robert, would it be worth it? Donald, would it be worth it? Let me know in the chat. Would it be worth it? I'm waiting for everybody to put their answer in the chat. Would it be worth it? We got to move on, but I want to hear your answers. Would it be worth it for you to make that 1997 investment if it gave you the opportunity to access a network of wealthy individuals, learn where the money is, how to access it, right? And individuals who could possibly make an investment in your business? Would that be worth it? Okay. So Robert says yes. So Robert, let me tell you what you get, right? Again, with your priority access ticket, You get the welcome package from me and sponsors, right? Valued at $45. An exquisite three-course dining experience, right? So you get to mix and mingle with other like-minded individuals over dinner. You also get to do that same with cocktails in the courtyard, right? $100 value and $158 value. A 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn e-course, right? Where I show you exactly the individuals that you need to be connecting with, showing you how to monetize your page, and all access to keynotes and breakout sessions, right? You get to talk to the investors themselves for only $14.97 value. That total value again is $19.97. But guess what? Today, for the Access Granite Conference here in Houston, it's only $497. Only $497. And let me tell you the best part. I've partnered with PayPal to make it even easier for you guys. You can do a buy now, pay later option with PayPal. I'm actually giving you three options, right? You can do pay in full, you can do payment plan, or you can do buy now, pay later, where you got time to pay it off. Okay. And so there's two options that you get, right? You can pay in four, meaning you can do one down payment and then have three more payments to go. You can split those purchases up, right? It's interest free, it's bi-weekly payments, and there are no late fees, right? How awesome is that I partnered with PayPal to do that? So your payments are only 124.25. Or you can do pay monthly. If you can't pay bi-weekly, you can pay monthly. You can do 6, 12, or 24 months. Think about it. If you split, a $500 payments into 24 months, I mean, that's like going to get a latte. It's literally that cheap. Okay. Now, what I'll tell you this. Okay. If you're interested, you'll do what is convenient. If you're committed, you'll do what it takes. If you're committed to learning how to access capital for your business, I highly recommend you get in the room with the actual funders, with the individuals who actually have the access to the capital that you need. And again, I've already given you guys proof that it works because I've had people who come to my conference and who have already secured capital for their businesses. And I'm a recipient of my own organization. Okay. Again, I secured a $25,000 angel investment just last year to start a whole new business. And that's not the only one. And again, I'll let you hear this while you guys are thinking and making a decision.
This year. Check it out. Follow her on LinkedIn.
Uh-oh.
Look it up. Hey, my name is Kimberly Evans. I am the founder and CEO of Just a Rideshare, a rideshare community of women drivers and riders, providing a safe alternative rideshare experience based right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Listen, I wanted to tell you guys about an event that I attended last year called Access Granted. And guess what? It's about to happen again in March, and I am so excited. Listen, this pint sized powerhouse, Seneca Dunmore, has put on an amazing event in past, and she is doing it again. So last year, and I have my notes even from last year, she everything was great from top to bottom. The camaraderie, the networking, the food was amazing, and the speakers that she brought in actually had powerful content to share. Everything from alternative business funding with Tamika Stafford, right? It was amazing, to angel investors, Padowitz, who talked about their theses and companies that they typically invest in. There were accountants there and strategists and planners, and it was just so amazing. And then Seneca herself talked about the power of crowdfunding and how you can basically use crowdfunding for anything. And it was a powerful lesson. So since the event, I have gone on to pursue and to win grant funding, which she talked a lot about that as well. And it was just so amazing. And I cannot wait to see what she has in store for us this year. So if you are in the Charlotte area or anywhere close to the Charlotte area, you do not want to miss Access Granted this year. Check it out. Follow her on LinkedIn. Look it up and be in the house because, again, I cannot wait to see what's coming this year. All right, thanks.
All right, guys. So again, you can get started today for just $497. You go to youraccessgranted.com /tickets. Okay. And again, there's three options. You can do a buy now, pay later, you can do a pay in full, or you can do a separate payment plan. Okay, I'm making it that easy for you guys. If you're interested, go ahead and drop your email in the chat. Go ahead and drop your email in the chat, and I will make sure that I send you more detail about how to get the process started. I'll give you more detail about the conference itself, right? And we can go ahead and get you in for access granted. Guys, it's going to be phenomenal. When I tell you, I'm bringing individuals who deal with multi-million and billion dollar accounts. And you know what the best part is? They all look like us. They look like you, which incentivizes them to want to help even more. Okay, they're incentivized to want to help you because, again, they come out of the same neighborhoods we came out of. Okay, so drop your email in the chat if you're wanting to come to Access Granted, or if you want more information about it. And for those of you who said you wanted to meet with me about some other things, drop your email in the chat so that I can email you and we can set up some time to talk. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this information. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. I have about 3 minutes to answer any questions. So go ahead and drop your email and your questions in the chat. All right, guys, make sure you put your information in the chat. You're welcome, Joy. Thank you. Thank you guys for attending. And again, if you want this information, go ahead and drop your email. Guys, we got about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Six. All right, guys. Well, there's nobody dropping their information in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and go. Um, I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. And again, if you need help, you need to put your information in the chat because you guys took the time to listen to this, right? And now it just comes down to a decision. If this is something you're interested in, if this is something that you're committed to finding more funding in your business, right? It's all about taking action. All right, guys, and with that being said, I'm out. I'm going to go swimming. So I hope you guys have a lovely evening. I'm going to go have a glass of wine and get in the pool. See you later.